Hi, everyone. Thanks for coming to our session on Azure AI bots and Power Virtual Agents. So first of all, hope everyone is okay and safe and kind of keeping safe with the current lockdown and the global situation. Hope everyone's family is safe. I think, as Andy mentioned, I'm more than happy to have this as an interactive session. Obviously, we're not used to doing a lot of virtual full-day events. Andy and his team have done a very good job in arranging this across multiple tracks. But if you have any questions throughout, I always like to have our sessions very interactive as much as possible. Ask questions. Obviously, if the questions become too much that we are kind of not going to be able to close off our session and cover all our content, then I might ask you to leave this to the end. So we'll go through it and we'll see how it goes. Hopefully we'll have some interactive audience who will ask interesting questions. We always have. So looking forward to it. So what we're talking about today is Azure AI and Dynamics 365 virtual agents. Now, there has been a lot of naming changes, as you know, with Microsoft. They always love to change names of products. So what we're talking about is Power Virtual Agents, but also we're talking about Azure AI, the bot framework. So I want to talk about both of them with a lot of focus on the Power Virtual Agents, which is the Dynamics 365 one or the Power Apps-based one. And also what we're doing is we're talking specifically around the property and real estate. So let me quickly introduce myself. Don't worry, I won't take you through all these details. I just thought I'll put my kind of one slide CV on the screen. So my name is Mohamed Mostafa. I'm a Microsoft MVP. I'm the technical director at Tech Labs London. And basically what we do is we focus a lot on property and housing and real estate. And we have our own solution, iProperty Cloud, which focuses on property and housing. And what we've done is we tailored a module on iProperty on our solution, iProperty Cloud, specifically for the property and housing. A good idea here, what we're trying to share here, the knowledge I'm trying to kind of share with you, and I'm sure a lot of knowledge for me to gain as well, is that you can go and apply these things onto your own specific industry, your own specific customer. You can tailor it as much as possible. So the whole idea here is to try to show you not just the general functionality, which we will do, the general functionality of Power Virtual Agents, but we also want you to start thinking about how can you tailor this to your exact business scenario, your exact customer business, your own customers or your own internal business, whoever the business you're working with, you can tailor that to your organization. So the first thing we're going to talk about is going to be talking about the Power Platform and Dynamics 365 AI capabilities at a very high level. I literally have 5 slides or 6 slides. Most of the session is going to be presentations and demo and walkthrough. So don't worry, it's not going to be death by PowerPoint. So I just want to give you a quick overview about AI capabilities in Dynamics. There's loads of things that are coming out and that have come out recently. Lots of products, lots of features, lots of functionalities that I really want everyone to start thinking about. In addition to this, I want us to think, why do we need a chatbot? Why do we need an AI-based chatbot? And then once we know why we need it, we're going to look at what's the Azure Bot Framework so that we can compare it to the Power Virtual Agents. Because as you know, the Power Virtual Agents is slightly different from Azure Bot Framework, and we'll talk about that hopefully in a bit more details. And then we're going to talk about the industry case study that we have in this case, which is a property and real estate case study. And then we're going to demo through the iProperty, a kind of a demo iProperty Cloud bot, or basically a demo bot for the property housing. And then we're going to do a configuration walkthrough as well to show you how the bot is configured from the back end.
Mohamed, just quickly, you're presenting, we're not seeing your slides. You're presenting like the template deck.
Oh, sorry. Ha. Thanks, Andy.
That's all right. Sorry about that.
I've got 2 screens and I share the wrong screen. Well, I think I clicked on the right one, but
hey, these things happen.
Yeah.
Okay.
I'll do it again. Don't worry. There you go.
Perfect. There you go.
Right. So all the slides you've missed. Um, thanks, Andy. Anyway, I don't have a lot of slides. I think it's the demo is hopefully what I wanted to take you through. So that's the slide I was talking about myself quickly. This is the agenda slide. So let's go through this quickly again. What we're trying to talk about is Power Platform and Dynamics 365 AI capabilities. AI, why we need an AI chatbot, the Azure Bot Framework, how is it different from the Power Virtual Agent. We're going to talk about the industry case study, and then finally, we're going to do the Power Virtual Agent demo, and then we do a configuration walkthrough. Okay. So let's talk a little bit about the AI Business Cloud. So what Microsoft is really trying to push very hard is now the Microsoft Business Solutions, Microsoft Business Applications, or Biz Apps, including Power Platform, including Power Apps, including Dynamics 365. The whole Biz Apps platform is not just a set of single kind of business applications that are doing the core functionality. They have a lot of intelligent AI, machine learning, innovative features that are core to these functionalities. So that's really a key message that you internally within your organization, or if you're a partner working with a customer, or a professional working with a customer, or if you're internally working within a business, you really have to start thinking about this is not just the core functionality. This is about a lot more than that. So there is a lot of AI capabilities that have been delivered with every one of these modules. So we're all familiar with the sales module, the marketing module, the service module, Power Platform. Maybe you've heard about commerce, project services automation, which is now called project operations. You know, Microsoft likes changing names. Supply chain, finance, talent, and so on. But in the middle of all of this, there's a huge amount of AI capabilities. So just to give you one example, AI Builder. So AI Builder is a set of AI capabilities, and they are basically wrappers that sit around the core AI, Azure AI capabilities. What Microsoft is doing very well, in my view, around business applications is that they look at all the core AI capabilities that Microsoft Azure has, and they build wrappers around those AI capabilities to allow all these applications that we're looking at, sales, marketing, service, commerce, all of them to be able to utilize these AI core capabilities with very little code or no code at all in some circumstances. So for example, AI Builder, as we said, is a set of AI capabilities. If you were to use the AI platform from Azure and try to implement the AI Builder, it's a long, extensive, significantly long process, lots of man days, lots of effort, lots of manpower. But if you were to go and do it in a AI Builder, then you've got a lot more capabilities pre-built and ready for you to use and configure. The same thing applies to what we're talking about today, which is the AI chatbot. So the AI chatbot, again, is a wrapper around Azure AI, Azure Bot Framework. And we'll come to that in a moment. But what is really key about this slide, what I really wanted everyone to understand and appreciate, is that Dynamics and Power Platform and the Power Apps world is no longer just your core functionalities, front office and back office. There is a lot of connections with your data, with your AI, using AI to get to understand more about your customers, your products, and your data. So why do we need an AI chatbot? And this is where it would be great to hear some feedback if anyone would like to participate. But why do we really need an AI chatbot? This is just a buzzword, and I think it's one of the things that really gets me annoyed is when people start using AI chatbots or just the word chatbot or any type of innovation just as a buzzword, but it doesn't actually bring in tangible benefits for the business. So this is not about just having some buzzwords not really delivering benefits. We want to deliver real benefits to our business, to our solutions. We want to make it successful. So before we just go and say, okay, I'm going to build a chatbot because it's nice, because it's benefits, or because it's the buzzword, everyone's talking about it. No, I want to understand why we're doing it. So there are many case studies, there are many reasons, but I'm going through some of them, and it would be great if anyone has more ideas to bring in. So the first one we thought about is the 24/7 customer service, which of course, I'm sure many people have already thought about, which is the ability to have this 24/7 customer service functionality using a chatbot. you are able to communicate with your customers using a chatbot, a pre-configured chatbot on your behalf during the weekends, off working hours. You don't have to hire people 24/7 to be answering very basic customer service information. But it's also a non-stop sales tool. So if you need to capture leads all day long, if people come to your website, they're trying to understand a little bit more and they need to talk to someone, but it's 3 o'clock in the morning, or it's a Sunday 8 a.m. No one is in your business working to answer these questions. They're gonna either have to wait for the next day and try to remember to come back to you, or they just try to navigate your website. A chatbot gives you the best of both worlds because it gives you an agent that is available 24/7, but that can answer a lot more questions than you can actually imagine. We'll talk about that more. But also, in addition to that, it can capture the lead. So a bot can capture all the details of a lead, just like your lead form, for example. So you're never really losing a lead during business closure when you have an AI chatbot rightly configured. You have an interactive knowledge base. There are a lot of customers, a lot of businesses who get questions around, what are your opening hours? What's the criteria for me to apply for this product or for this service, or how does this service work? These information might be already on your website, might not be, but even if they are on the website, it might be difficult to find them on your website via navigation. A chatbot can be interactive with the customer, try to understand what the problem they are trying to fix, and using those keywords and those specific tags, they can go and push the right knowledge base articles and the knowledge information to your customer. And this knowledge base is then captured inside your Power Platform Dynamics 365 solution. So it could actually become a channel shift because you're reducing your call center costs. If your salespeople are getting calls about, hi, I'm interested in, let's say in our case study, I'm interested in buying a property. What's the process like? This is a very straightforward kind of process, 1, 2, 3, 4, for example. That's available on our website, but the salesperson have to go and repeat that question if they're picking up this call, or someone in the call center have to answer these questions. But directing them to, rather than going on the website and trying to find those processes or calling the call center, you can actually shift that channel to be on the AI chatbot. And you get to see where that is going. So if you move on to talking about how it works for you in terms of selling, you can cross-sell and upsell using the AI chatbot. If someone is interested in a specific product, let's say they're interested in buying a property, you can go back and say, oh, by the way, there are 3 other properties that are available. You can start push other products or services that you have in addition to the product or service the customer is interested in. Any other views? Anyone else has any other kind of ideas? If you would like, if it's okay with you, Andy, as well. I think I'd like to hear some people's feedback, or someone who's got any feedback, any other ideas? Anyone?
Hi, Mohamed. Is there a capability of transferring the live chat to a human?
Yes, of course there is. Yeah, there is an option at the end to move it to a human agent. But any other kind of reasons you would think a chatbot will be useful for your business other than those kind of options?
See, because based on the Microsoft Azure chatbot or IBM Watson, everything requires some training the bot. You can because most of the companies, they need to have some kind of expertise on the chatbots, writing the custom code like that. Because what I've seen previously is like if you have to transfer the chat to the human, then you have to write the custom code for that. Is the Power this chatbot, the Power Virtual Agent, does it got inbuilt capability of transferring the chat to Teams like that?
Yes, yeah, and we'll go through that. That's later on in the session. So this, but I'll kind of answer your question in a moment. Sorry, I can't catch your name because I don't have it on my screen. But I'll answer your question.
Oh, my name is Uday. Sorry.
Okay, no worries. Yeah. But for now, I think what we're trying to cover is the reasons for why do we need a chatbot from a business scenario. So hopefully we covered most of the cases, but you have to have more kind of cases that I would like to mention at a later point. We can also discuss that. Right. So let's jump into the bot framework then. So the Azure Bot Framework, this is the framework that Power Virtual Agents is built on top of it. The Azure Bot Framework has a huge amount of capabilities, but it's a complete custom development exercise. You obviously have a lot of connectors, you have a lot of available services. So if you look at it from left to right, you've got lots of different types of inputs. So that could be typing, speaking, adaptive cards, tapping. You've got loads of different channels. You've got loads of different devices. All of that goes into an Azure Bot service, which then goes into the cognitive services core functionality. So speech, Q&A, language understanding, vision, and so on. And then that gets pushed into the knowledge, the assistant, the skill customization, and that's the Azure AI skills that you can create for your chatbots. But there's a huge amount of custom development undertaking if you were to build directly on a bot framework from scratch. What Microsoft did really well, which is what we're talking about, is the Power Virtual Agent, which is a wrapper around the AI chatbots. So it's a low-code, no-code bot building for everyone, and we mean everyone. And you'll see some of the configuration walkthroughs today that we're going to go through. You can see that you, as an advanced business user, you can actually build a bot framework. You, as a developer, of course, you can build a bot framework. A PVA or Power Virtual Agent. An advanced business user can, a developer can, a maker. Everyone can build a bot based on the Power Virtual Agent because of the fact that it is fairly configurable with very little custom development if you don't want to do any custom development. So low code, no code. Obviously, you can add code to it if you wanted to have some code, and we'll talk about that as we go through the configuration. But the key message here is that it's a configurable wrapper that sits around your Azure Bot Framework. So that is the difference between the Power Virtual Agent and Azure AI Chatbot. The Azure AI Bot Framework. So the wrapper can then push AI skills. So you can have AI skills added to a Power Virtual Agent. And these AI skills are developed using the AI bots. The Power Virtual Agent itself is actually a wrapper around the Azure AI Bot Framework. And then you can also use something like Power Automate to interact with any system, the 250, 300 plus connectors that we have now with Power Automate. Stopped counting. Every day there's a new connector. Even SAP has a new connector now in Power Automate. So your Power Virtual Agent, your bot, can interact with probably 300 plus applications using Power Automate. You can add AI skills inside that Power Virtual Agent as well. Right, so let's jump into a demo. So we tailored Power Virtual Agents into a specific case study for the real estate and property market. So our bot, what it does sales, appointments booking, including viewings like property viewings, a knowledge base, a customer service, repairs, GDPR, and consent management. So these are some of the functionality or the features that you can have in your bot for your organization or your business or your industry. So sales, this is everything around capturing leads, answering questions, pre-sales, and then if the customer is interested in, for example, booking a viewing of a property, they can book that appointment directly with the bot. If they have any specific questions about what is the process of setting up of buying the property, for example, or what's the eligibility criteria in cases of, for example, shared ownership, there are eligibility criteria. All these questions can be answered via the knowledge base. So the knowledge base is created inside your Power Platform in Dynamics 365, and the bot is dipping inside your Dynamics 365 knowledge base module, getting the data and the answers back to the customer on behalf of your application, on behalf of your agents as well. And then other customer service, what's the update on my complaint, for example? I would like to update my contact details. Any type of customer service questions, the bot can, if you configure that bot, can answer these questions on your behalf. And then you've got the repairs, where I can raise repairs, for example, if I would like to request a repair of my place, of my house in cases of housing associations, for example. I can raise a repair, I can get updates on the repair, I can cancel the booking of the repair appointment, change the date, and so on. And then finally, the bot on your behalf, on your business behalf, is providing a GDPR and consent management, because every interaction with the bot can ask a question, say, do we have the right to capture your details for 6 months for marketing purposes, for example? Before we start, we have a question, can we capture your details, for example, for 6 months? You can do that. Obviously, it's completely in your hand, but if you could do it at the start, you could do it at the end. The sessions are recorded, all these sessions that you have with the customer, the bot that has the sessions with the customer, these sessions are recorded. So you can capture this consent, you can update your Power Apps or Power Platform Dynamics 365 with this consent, and you can manage that consent. It could be that someone, you already have a consent to capture their details for 6 months, and they contact you the last week before that consent is about to finish. So the bot on your behalf can renew that consent for 6 more months. Or someone has contacted you for the first time, you can create that consent. You can have all the information around the GDPR in terms of things in addition to consent, for example, things such as the PID, personal identifiable information, what type of information you want to capture, which allows to capture this information about you for reporting purposes, for example, and so on. And you can continue to implement your GDPR processes within it. So that's, I'll stop here, and I will switch to my screen, to my other screen for my demo. Let me bring that up. We have one more slide, which is about the configuration, and then the rest of the session is going to be hopefully demo. Right. Let's make sure that I share the right screen. Right, so you should be seeing my Power Virtual Agent screen now.
Yep.
Thanks, Andy. Right, so the first thing, once you land on the Power Virtual Agent, first of all, anyone who hasn't got Power Virtual Agents, I need to refresh that, who hasn't tried Power Virtual Agents before, please note that you can actually have Power Virtual Agent as a test, so you can go and create a test or a trial of Power Virtual Agents for yourself. You can go and test out the full functionality. Let's hope our internet connection works. So that's the demo that I'm going to go through, but I just want to walk through this. Tell you what, while this is loading, let me quickly start the demo of the actual. So this is what your customers would see on your website, on Facebook, on whatever you want to implement your iProperty Cloud bot, sorry, or your chat bot. You literally create that bot. This is obviously a test web page, but you can add that to any of your web pages that you want. And as you can see, as soon as I said hi, the bot comes back with, hi, I am Xbot. I can help you booking appointment, raising repairs or complaints and other stuff. And you can explain to them what they do. But what you will see is that one of the good design principles that we do with the Power Virtual Agent bot is to try to minimize the amount of text that the customer has to write. Because customers, from our kind of observation, but I'm sure there will be lots of research around that customers would probably prefer to be clicking on buttons instead of having to type in what they want to do. So when I look at this here, I can see that I can find a property, book an appointment, raise a case, repair, know about different topics, raise or cancel a complaint, and so on and so forth. Or I can say, I'm looking to buy a property. I'm looking for a property, for example. So as a customer, most probably I will prefer to click on the button. Now, if I type in, I'm looking for a property, and I ignore the buttons, that still works. What you would need to do, and I'll show you that in a moment, is that you need to be capturing those kind of keywords or those trigger keywords that you're expecting a customer to be saying. So for example, the customer could be saying, looking for a property, find a property, search for a property, search property, searching for a property search. There is loads of different combinations that you would expect the customer to be saying. You need to be, as much as possible, capturing those trigger words to make sure that if they are typing in text, you're capturing all the possible keywords. But even if they type in a keyword that you've never captured before, you've got a number of advantages here. Number one, Power Virtual Agent will automatically have the functionality that's called suggested topics. So it can come back and say, do you mean finding a property, for example? But also, even if all of that failed and the customer decided to click on the button, but the text, they typed the text didn't work out, they still have the button, they click on the button. So hopefully they will never go away because they still have a button to click on. But even in that case, that session, because it's stored, you will get a notification where, or at least you're captured in the backend, that you know that there is someone who typed in a new keyword for a specific topic that you were not expecting before. So let's say someone said, instead of a property, said a two-bed house, for example, and you were not expecting that kind of word. So you can go and create, if you can decide if you want to go and create this additional keyword trigger for your bot. So in our case here, I'm just going to say I'm looking to find a property. So in our case study, what we have done is, I think because I've got, this is a basically a case study for an estate agency or a property group that sell properties only in Spain. And the reason we're adding this checkpoint is because throughout your bot, you will always, again, as part of your design, you always need to have a checkpoint to make sure that, are we talking to the right customer? Because you don't want the customer to be spending 15, 20 minutes of their time talking to a bot only to find out at the end that they're looking for a property in Portugal and we're only selling properties in Spain, just for example. So you want to put those checkpoints very early on. GDPR could be a very important checkpoint at the beginning as well. You will say, by the way, we will be capturing this session, or we'll be capturing your details that you will provide to us. Do we have your permission to do so? Yes, we'd allow you to carry on. No, we'll take you out of the chatbot. So you can do all these checkpoints throughout, but it's very important to start doing this quite early on. So in this case, we're saying all our properties are located in Spain. Are you happy with that? Yes, I'm happy. So are you looking for a specific property? Do you have the code, the reference number of a specific property? Or would you like to filter properties, which means search for properties? So in that case, all I'm going to say is I would like actually to filter for properties. So then again, I can go in and let the customer to type the location. Please choose the list of from the list a place where you might feel at home. So you choose Costa Blanca, but I can go and type in Costa Blanca if I want to. However, it's always easier to have this as a button. As you can see here, so far as a customer, I haven't written a single word. So although it's a chat bot, you're actually clicking on buttons, and I can do that very quickly. By the way, I'm just walking you through the design, so give you those kind of ideas. So just for an example, I'm going to select Costa Blanca as my preferred area. There was another option which I didn't show you, which is none of the above. I'm looking for everywhere. Maybe I'm not specifically. I don't know the difference. Then it comes back and says, thanks for choosing your region of interest, but what type of property are you looking for? So I've got, again, you can add all your property types, or you can have multiple options. It could be that you're looking for a villa and a apartment at the same time. You're not wedded to one of these options. So what's the minimum number of bedrooms? I'm going to say 1. I can say not applicable because you know what? I don't know anything. I want you to help me find properties, but we want to nail down in our case study here a kind of into a 1 or 2 properties to come back. So I've given the number of bedrooms, number of bathrooms, and all of that behind the scenes, and we'll see that in the configuration walkthrough. The bot is capturing behind the scenes this information about the customer filter. Then it's going to use a Power Automate, a Microsoft Flow, to go into Dynamics, look for properties with these criteria, and bring it back to the customer. So please specify your budget. For example, what's your maximum budget? So in this case, I'm just going to go up with a big budget with, so $500,000, for example, is my budget. Now, this is the moment where the Power Automate runs behind the scenes, dips inside Dynamics. This is actually happening in front of you now, and capture those properties that match this criteria. And hopefully there will be one property that matches this criteria. I haven't checked this demo before, but while it's doing this, let me quickly open up my properties here. So this is obviously behind the scenes, my Dynamics. Do I have a property that matches this criteria? Yeah, I've got a few. So let's come back. I think I should, oh, here we go. So I've got a list of properties here, as you can see, that match my criteria. And I can see here, for example, pretty much all of the properties that I have here. Let's open up one of them.
Mohamed, just quickly, would you be able to zoom your screen in a bit?
Oh, yeah, sure.
Thanks.
This better?
Perfect. Yeah.
Yeah. Right. Right. So, so this is one of the properties. For example, if I come back in here, so this is it. For example, so this is the 33 Marabella Costa Blanca property. So let's say I'm interested in this property. Now I can, the bot gives me more options. Would you like to look for other properties? Maybe none of these properties match what I'm looking for, or I might be able to book a visit. I can find out more about living in Spain, because I don't live in Spain. I want to move into Spain, or I want to buy a holiday home in Spain, like in our case study. Or I can talk to a human agent. So this is your, I think, Jay's question earlier. So I can just click on that button, and that would transfer me to a human agent, or I can just end the chat. And a few other features which I'll show you in a moment. So I can, at any point of time, as a customer, I can go and say start over. And as soon as I say start over, the whole process starts again. But let's say I would like to book a visit directly. And what I'm going to try to do now here is, rather than, so the first thing is we'll need to capture my details. So let's use Andrew's details, if it's okay with you, Andrew. As our customer, and Andy's email. Obviously, that's not Andy's email, so I'll just put it like that. And now I'm capturing this customer, so I'm creating that as a contact in Dynamics. So I can do that differently if I need to. Let's say I'm going to do 01, let's say 19. I can put in some postcode. Right, please confirm that the following information is correct. If you say yes, I can say all correct. That will create that contact for me. Would you like to book an appointment? Yes. We've got the property reference. Yes, I've got it. So the property reference, I think, was 33. Then it asked me, would you like to do that tomorrow or the day after tomorrow? Let's say I'll just select tomorrow. Then it goes into the system and checks the availability. So it says, please enter the start time of your preferred appointment. So let's say I'm going to select 11. And let's say it's 12. And we have lots of different ways of configuring this, by the way. So in another bot, what we've done is, and I can show you that as well in a moment, what we've done is we actually configured it so that, so for example, this one actually, the time is incorrect. It couldn't find appointments between those two times. So the one I want, we'll probably have to, as you know, start over. The one I wanted to actually show you was the one where it gives you a range, but that's not the right demo that I'm showing you. I'm just going to show you other functionality, and then I'm going to come back to the appointment booking. So appointment booking, we'll come back to this. Raise or cancel a case, for example. Know more about different topics. So let's go into the knowledge base. This is the area where I want to know more about the information. Again, all of this information is coming from Dynamics. So all these topics are coming from Dynamics. So we've got buying a home, ending a tenancy. Obviously, we've got a random selection of things, tax, for example. If there is any knowledge base article in our system that is related to tax or tagged with tax, we can bring the tax payment. So we'll give you a reminder. Is there anything else we'd like to help you? Yes. Let's say I go back and look for more information. Let's say ending tenancy. Let's hope there is a knowledge base article for that. And while this is happening, oh, I don't have knowledge base on this one. Yeah, so for example, there is a knowledge base article here that says to end your tenancy, you need to give us 4-week notice. You'd like to, blah, blah, blah. Is there anything else we can assist you with? Yes. So as you can see, I'm asking lots and lots of different questions. So I've looked for a property, I booked an appointment. Let's go and raise a repair. Now the challenge with raising a repair, well, it shouldn't be a challenge. Let's give it a go. What would you provide? So let's start with your first name. So I'm going to use Andrew, which we created as a person already. I think, let me just go back here and look for active contacts. had a, because you have to have a property associated with you to be able to book the appointments. Check back here. So we can see here we've done quite a few before. Okay, so let's say Andrew, I don't think that would work actually. Let's we'll go through the configuration and I'll show you where that works. So
be nice now. Okay.
Always has to happen, you know how it is. What else? But you know, you can see the gist of it. You can see that there's a, and we'll go through the configuration as well, which hopefully will show you a bit more about how this is. No, I'm not a customer, for example. So I can, as you can see, these are all questions. Does that have the answer? No, for example, I can do a rephrase. I can, you know, I can do, so let's say I can find a property here. So I can keep on trying welcome to, so it goes back into telling me, now it goes back into the topic, which is filter a property. Now I'm interested in a specific property. And I know it's property number 33, so it's going to go, the Power Automate now fires again, looks for the property reference 33, brings that up, and so on and so forth. Right, and didn't find the property. Fantastic. Right, so let's go through the configuration. I think that's a key part of what I wanted to show you today is how we do the skills, so AI skills, authentication channels, go through the topics, the entities, and the analytics. So first thing first, analytics. Analytics are really important because it tells you about, in the last hour, so I think it's about 1 hour late, it's a Power BI report that tries to bring in lots of information about all the sessions that you had. Imagine if you are an organization and you're doing I don't know, 100 sessions a day. A session is an interaction. So what I had now with the bot is an interaction. It's 100 sessions. Let's say we're doing 100 sessions a day. And within those 100 sessions, it's going to take some time because it's bringing data for the last 7 days, or probably might not actually have a lot because it is the last 7 days. Let's say last 30 days. It depends on how many sessions we ran on this specific bot. You can have multiple bots, by the way. So as you can see here from the bot, this is one bot. We have a lot of bots, as you can see. So I think the other bot that I wanted to show you was this one. Let me quickly jump into that one. But as you can see here, it gives me a lot of engagement over time, how many sessions were resolved. So the customer said, yes, I'm happy with what I got, or the customer had complaints. There's loads and loads of different information that you can bring back about the session. As I mentioned, you can get the topics that were successful, the topics that were not successful, and so on. Let me quickly then, just to confirm if this is the right bot, open up that, go back to topics. Now, in topics, this is where, when I am in topics, topics are basically everything that we've been talking about previously. So if I close that test, so I've got the knowledge articles, right? Knowledge article, this is the connection to your knowledge base. So when I go in here, I can see what are the trigger phases. I want to know more, general information, want to know general information about, and then an error comes out. Let's try that again. Okay, and I can add more and more phrases. So learn more, for example, if I type in learn more, if I add this, now I have a learn more as a trigger phrase for my topic. So let's go inside that topic. No, hold on, I need to save that first because I want to add the learn more. And then now I'm saving this additional trigger to my topic. Now, if I jump into my knowledge articles topic, this is the configuration part. This is where you can see how, as you can see here, those are the trigger phrases. You can add as many as you want. This is the text you're asking the question. These are the options that I'm giving the user. Depending on their selection of the options, as you can see here, it goes into different conditions. And according to your condition, I can go into different action. If none of the above, I can go and jump into somewhere else. So as you can see here, for example, you can see that you go in, you run a Power Automate called Knowledge Article Flow. So this is a Power Microsoft Flow that goes into Dynamics, dips inside Dynamics, get the relevant knowledge articles. And then there is a question: would you like to search for another keyword, or would you like to know more about other things? Yes or no. And then at any point, as you can see here, if I say yes, there is an arrow. This arrow takes me back all the way back to the start, so I can go back into my question. As you can see, this is how you literally design your topics in the bots. And we have much more complex. So if I go, if I zoom out a little bit, this is it at a very high level. But let's see, if I show you the one for searching for a property, for example, it's a lot more complex. So let me go back to topics and go back to where is property finder. Yeah. So for the property finder, again, we've got lots of keywords here or trigger phrases. I'm going to go to my authoring. So again, a topic could be a selection of things that you want to do. But typically, so for example, search for a property, in our case, is a topic. Knowledge base is a topic. Raise a repair is a topic. Check a complaint, progress of a complaint is a topic. So we try to combine some relevant kind of cases together into one topic as much as possible. But at the same time, don't make it everything in one big massive topic, because then that topic will become very difficult to manage. So I'll show you now the property finder topic once it loads up. Here we go. Right. So this is the property topic. As you can see, I'm going to zoom out. So I'm going to very quickly now run this bot. This is a different demo bot that we have. I'm just going to go through it quickly. The same process while we're doing this, multitasking. So I'm going to select the same. Remember that we're looking at the same backend database. So we've got the same set of properties, the same set of knowledge base articles and so on. But I have two different bots in this case talking to the same backend. I'm going to do that. Right, while this is loading. So this is one of our biggest topics. It's a fairly large one. To be honest, never had this issue before where it takes so long to load, but I'm assuming it might be related to the fact that I'm uploading or I'm doing video. So I might just stop my video if that's okay, just to see if that is going to improve. Okay, so let's, yeah, so I've got this one. So for example, 11FA, let's say I want to book a visit. I'm going to go to 11FA, right? So this is the one that we were doing before. Actually, that is also a different backend CDS. I'll show you that in a second. So this is the one where it goes inside Dynamics, look for available times for sales agents. And it comes back and says, yeah, I've got between 10 o'clock and 3 o'clock. So let's say I'm just going to select 11. Please enter your name. I'm going to use Marcos. And please enter your email address. So it's going to be Marcos at and we'll go back. So this one, this is what's happening now is, as you can see here, it asks where do you want to book it. It gave you an availability between 10 and 3. I've entered my email and says, yeah, it has been booked. And I'll go now and show you that appointment. Please give me a minute while I book the appointment. It did the appointment. Do you want me to send a email? Yes, confirm. Did I answer your question? Yes. And then at the end, it says, how would you rate your experience? It's always excellent. Let's quickly go to the box that I was referring to while this is hopefully loaded. Here we go. Right, so I'm going to zoom out just to show you 30,000 feet how the topic looks like from above. I think that's as far as we can do. So as you can see here, this is the looking for a property topic. This is how complex it can be. Now, it's not actually that complex if you design your topic in advance. And that's a really key point I want everyone to look at, which is when you design your bots, don't just go ahead, because it's very easy to go and build those kind of questions and check conditions and move on and bring it back and so on. But the most important part is you design that. Design it on a piece of paper, design it on an Excel sheet, design it somewhere on OneNote, but you need to design it first. How am I going to design? I'm going to ask this question. If the answer is yes, I'm going to do this. If it's no, I'm going to do that. And then if ask a property, and we can kind of dig deep into some of these, for example. This way. Let's say I will go into this one. Here is the option, for example, I'm giving the user the 5 options, Costa Blanca, Costa Calida, whatever. And then based on their selection, I can then go deep into each one of them. So it's really important to design that first before you go and build it, because otherwise, once you build it, obviously, as you can see, there is the tool is pretty nice in terms of I can see everything from the, at a very high level. But what is very important is you do the right design, because you could end up in an infinite loop or in a loop that takes you nowhere, and you're kind of trying to understand why did it end in this location, in this place, while I was expecting it to be doing this. So here is the area where, for example, I am giving the user, the customer, the options for houses. For example, if the customer select multiple options, then I take them to a completely different scenario. If they select one of these options, I go deep into the next stage, number of bedrooms, and then I go into number of bathrooms, and then I move into the Power Automate, and I pass on all the parameters to via Power Automate to Dynamics to bring back my list of properties. Then I go back into what more would you like to do? I can come back here and say, well, I still want to look for other properties, then it will trigger me back. So that's the topic at a very high level. As you can see, it's a fairly complicated once you build it. But to be fair, we're talking about half a day to a day of work to build a kind of a full end-to-end topic, as long as you've done your design correctly in advance. And I want to show you quickly the appointment that we created with this one. So if I jump in, I'm conscious of time. I know I have to. We had what we had. Marcus somewhere. Can anyone see Mark? Here we go. Marcus Smith, 11FA. So Marcus Smith, appointment has been booked for tomorrow from here. So that's the bit that I wanted to show you, where we actually dipped inside Dynamics, looked for available sales agents, brought back 2 available times. I select one time. And so on. I can always go back and say start over, and then I can go and do other things. So for example, know more about properties. This is again, I can go and go through the knowledge base, and this is, for example, I think we had the taxes one and so on. Now, so that's the appointment booking. That's the knowledge base. That's the looking for properties. We looked at the walkthrough of the topics at a very high level. Another area that, before I close, that I wanted to take you through is testing your topics. So as you can see, this topic is fairly complex. But I want to test it. I want to test it. I want to try it myself. So rather than going and testing it here, what the option here, I've got a test your bot option. This is one of the best kind of things that you can do to almost debug your chatbot. So if I say hi, it will do exactly what it does on a test web page, but the difference here is it will take me to the relevant topic, the point of time of the topic. So as you can see here, what do you want to do? I want to know more about properties. So it will switch now from the greeting topic, as you can see here. It will switch into my knowledge base articles topic, and will take me straight to the entry point that we came back into this topic. And as you can see here, I've got my topic. So if I select taxes, again, that will move automatically. So I'm not doing anything behind the scenes. It's almost like debugging it line by line to go through each topic. Andy, how am I doing for time? Do we need to close off, or can I have a couple more minutes?
Yeah, actually, I guess we're coming to the end of the session, but if you want to stay on, Mohamed, and anybody else, that's absolutely fine. I have to drop off to host another call, but yeah, if you want to stay on, carry on answering questions, that's fine.
Okay, so we'll just take 5 more minutes for answering questions. I think I covered the key areas that I wanted to cover, which was the configuration walkthrough and kind of my contact details. But before I do, the last thing I wanted to show you was how to test your bot. Right, so anyone has any questions so far from what you've seen? Anyone?
Hi, Mohammed. This is Sheena here.
Hi, Sheena.
Hello. Yeah, it's quite an interesting topic. Just was wondering if we have any like live websites out there for housing or estate agents who have already implemented AI chatbots, the live websites. Do we know about like success stories, things like that? Just interested to know.
Yeah, it's probably something to take offline if that's okay. Yes, we do have live customers using AI chatbot for the Spain example is actually live. So yeah, more than happy to do that. And there's a housing association as well, but we'll take that offline. Yeah, you've got my contact details on the screen. Hopefully everyone can see my contact details. So yeah, by all means, reach out and we can definitely talk about that.
Okay.
Okay. Any other questions? Anyone wants to see anything else before we close the session? So I guess in summary, what I wanted to kind of make sure that everyone is aware of is you've got your topics, you move from one topic to the other. You can use this test bot functionality to walk through your to test and literally debug line by line your bot. Most important kind of point around topics is to make sure that you're only you're designing your topics before you actually implement that topic to make sure that you've got the right design. And you can create obviously as many bots as you want. You can have multiple bots looking at the same data, or you can have multiple bots looking at different instances all within your Power Platform and Power Apps. And with that, I think unless anyone has any more questions, I'll end the session. And thanks very much for joining me. I really appreciate your time.
Mohamed, thanks very much. I'm just going through the chat. I don't think we've got any questions that have come up, but like I say, I'll leave the call open if anybody does have any and they want to join in and ask questions. But I just want to say thank you very much for doing your session. It's been really, really good. I love Bot Framework and I love the Power Virtual Agents. It's so powerful, and yet it's so, it's not development work, it's configuration, which I think is amazing. But yeah, please do, anybody on the call, share your feedback through the mobile website or that link that I gave out earlier on, which is also on the agenda. I've put the next sessions in the chat if you want to have a look at that. But yeah, just want to say big thanks to Mohamed for presenting, and I will see you again soon.
Brilliant. Thanks very much, Andy. Thanks for your help. Thanks, everyone. Look forward to talking to you again.
Thanks, Mohamed.
Cheers. Thank you.